Hello guys! Today I want to do something a bit different than my usual mouse reviews, and that I want to review a mouse cable mod that another member of the OCN forum, CeeSA, did. And as you can see here, it's the Paragon cable mod. Many of you maybe have seen the forum post that where he already explained what he did and how he did it, and now he was so nice to lend me his mouse for review, to let me see firsthand how this Paragon cable behaves and why it is actually a really great type of cable to have. First look, you think it's just a braided cable, maybe in fancy colors, but it's actually not. It's a very light and flexible cable. It's even more flexible than something like the Zowie cables that we have here, because as you can see here, if I turn them, there's still some springy stiffness to them, but they're nice for cables. But in this one, if I put it like this, you know, it's a very little flex in it, so it stays the way you want it to, and it doesn't drag your mouse in any way. If I move the cable, unless I pull on it here, it doesn't do anything to my mouse, unlike, let's take a Logitech G100S. You see how stiff this cable is. Some people like that, I don't, and many people wish for more flexible cables. So you see, if I move this just a bit, it also already turns the mouse, so there's stiffness in here, and kind of a spring. If I let it go, the mouse, it turns back, just because of the drag of the cable on it. And if you do this here, you take the cable, nothing. There's no drag on it. It almost feels like a wireless mouse, and it's even less so than on the regular Zowie soft rubber cables. And you can see the difference to a normal braided cable. Anybody who's not familiar with the difference might think that braided cables are all the same. This is the braided cable on CeeSA Raw, and it's pretty much like, it's not as good or as flexible as the Zowie cables. It's a bit better than the cable on the G100S, but it's still a very stiff cable. You see, it bends a bit, and then it starts turning the mouse, so you have drag. You can feel it. You can feel the resistance of the cable when you move the mouse, and that's just something that doesn't happen here. This one stays perfectly flat. It also doesn't catch on things as much as the braided cable does, because it's not as rough. So I really like the cable when I played with the mouse. If mice came with this cable, I would prefer that, but I think it's not possible due to some regulatory guidelines that companies have to follow, because this cable is not shielded as much as these cables are, which is relevant for us as the end user, but they have to follow the law. So if you want to have that cable, you need to follow CeeSA's mod, how to do it. There's a normal USB connector. I don't know where this is taken from. One thing it doesn't have is the stress relief that you see on normal rubber cables, but you also don't have that on braided cables like on the CeeSA, and you don't need it because it doesn't really put any stress. It won't break because it's that flexible. So in my eyes, a very nice cable mod. If you're interested in a flexible cable and the mouse you have doesn't provide it, then this is definitely something that you should check out. I like it very much. I played with this. It's a ZA11 that he did the mod on, so my favorite mouse. I played with it quite a bit, but what he also did was change this button to change the DPI settings, and therefore I learned that I actually sometimes tap this button and change my DPI. That was something I wouldn't do if I changed the cable, but yeah, it's a pretty cool cable, and I thought I'd give it the review that I promised to give him, and that is well deserved.